You're tuned in to Nerd Overload, your weekly show for video games, movies, TV shows, comics, tech news, and more. Now your hosts, Cody Pennick, Samantha Cross, Sam Dunham, and Josh Harrison.
Hey everybody, welcome to Nerd Overload, the pop and geek culture show that is a more generous romantic companion than Bruce Wayne. I'm Cody, a hero that does do that.
I'm Sam.
I can't.
Oh, we have a great show for you this week. Thank you all for tuning in.
That's Josh.
That's Josh, by the way.
He's right off frame.
Yeah.
In the studio.
Yes.
Heyo.
Yes. And so anyway, yeah, we have a bunch of news to go over. It's our big E3 2021 episode, so we're going to have a lot of game news. But first, let's do some quick check them out.
Check it out!
What is that?
That's Zangief from Street Fighter, the movie, the game. That's the sound that plays every time you put a quarter in to the machine. So if you put multiple in at the same time, do you know what it sounds like?
He's taking a dump?
Oh, I tried to play it like multiple times. You can actually hit it like so it goes.
It just sounds like he's taking a particularly gnarly dump.
It does, yes.
I mean, in Soviet Russia.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about some things we've been checking out this week. I have been, and during our discussion of bad movies last week, we talked about things. We talked about Spookies. Got kind of in the mood for watching some bad movies, so I went back to a classic. Probably one of the quintessential bad movies. It's like one of the gold standards. A movie called Champagne and Bullets, otherwise known as Road to Revenge, also known as Geteven.
Geteven?
So it's spelled get even, like Geteven, but all of its branding, they have forgotten the space between get and even, so it looks and reads as though it says Geteven. And that's how it's referred to online by most folks, is just Geteven. But this movie has it all. It is written by lawyer John DeHart, directed by lawyer John DeHart, and starring lawyer John DeHart. It is the triple...
He's a triple threat.
He's a triple threat. This movie has it all. It has disgraced cops, bad kung fu, cults, Playboy bunnies, terrible country karaoke, visibly drunk co-stars. It's everything.
How drunk are we talking? Are we talking Sheriff in Cannibal the Musical drunk?
I'm talking like slurring and yelling at other like extras in scenes drunk.
So Sheriff in Cannibal the Musical.
Yeah, that's it.
What is that line he does that you know what happens at sundown?
No, it's sunrise.
At sunrise.
So we're going to go out and look for him at sunrise. You know what happens at sunrise. And then he forgets his line and walks off. Oh, it's great. But no, Geteven is amazing. So it has 3 titles because it had 3 different cuts of the film. Champagne and Bullets is like the most... It's the most coherent, the longest, and probably the least fun of the 3. They tried to cut down on a lot of the action and blood and boobs and stuff for Road to Revenge.
The good stuff.
The good
they took
stuff.
all the good stuff out.
Geteven is almost the opposite, where they took out most of the plot, and it's just dumb, ridiculous, bad action. He does bad kung fu. It's
like Dolomite style kung fu.
Oh, it's absolutely Dolomite style kung fu. This is a movie in where the main actor, director, writer wanted to make sure that everyone needed to know how cool he was. He is the coolest guy that walks in to any room. He charms any lady that he speaks to. He gives like the worst, most off-color, kind of racist jokes. There's a scene in which he is taking his lady friend out to dinner and keeps making like these weird, tone-deaf jokes like he's doing his 10-minute set. talking to the waiter, which is awful in real life, let alone in a movie. And I'll play it for you during the break, but he sings a country song called The Shimmy Slide, and he looks as though he's a deer caught in the headlights. Like, he looks visibly nervous and scared to be on stage singing
a song.
He's singing this country song, and he's just so nervous about it. Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. So there is a brand new transfer from the folks at Vinegar Syndrome. They took the original film negatives and did like a 4K restoration of this garbage film that shouldn't exist.
That name sounds really familiar. I had
Vinegar
to
Syndrome.
watch something by them.
Oh, it's their bread and butter is taking bad movies that only existed on VHS, going out, searching out like the originals, the negatives or whatever, and doing the highest quality Blu-rays they possibly can. I have another one of their films that they released, Tammy and the T-Rex.
Oh, that's probably where I heard. I still haven't seen that, but that's probably where
Tammy
I
and
heard
the T-Rex is great too, with Denise Richards and the late Paul Walker as the T-Rex, as the titular T-Rex. It's a movie that didn't know whether it wanted to be a screwball comedy or a horror film, so it had both.
It just split the uprights.
It split the uprights. You have one scene where the T-Rex bloodily eats a guy's head off, and the next scene he is using his tiny T-Rex arms to like make a phone call and try to on a payphone and try to like stick his claw into like the change receptacle to try to get his change back.
It split the uprights and made something totally unmarketable.
Oh, yeah.
Paul Walker was the dinosaur?
Paul Walker was the dinosaur.
Huh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Terrible.
He walked the dinosaur. He also talked the dinosaur.
And the villain in that is Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's. Yes.
So there's got two guys carrying him around?
Right, might as well.
This is why you shouldn't feel bad that he's dead in Weekend at Bernie's, because he's a villain in this.
He's a villain in this one.
He's actually a villain.
He's a super villain who wanted to put a human brain inside a robot dinosaur.
Oh, it's a robot dinosaur?
Well, it's unclear. Some scenes it's a robot dinosaur, and some scenes it's treated as though it's a real dinosaur.
Huh.
Despite any of the walking scenes, that's clearly on a cart because the maquette that they used didn't have working legs. So they just kind of hid it behind bushes and slowly wheeled it through scenes. It's like a really impressive animatronic from like the neck up, because like the head and eyes move really, really well, but otherwise it is a stationary statue.
It's Stan Winston from the neck up.
Yeah. Oh, it's Tammy and the T-Rex is a trip. And again, Vinegar Syndrome did not sponsored. I wish we were sponsored. I love their stuff, but they did a full blown restoration of both the R-rated bloody cut and the version that is edited down to be more of like a screwball comedy. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's great stuff. Bad movies are amazing.
I imagine the R-rated one is the one you want to watch.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Which is on Shudder, and I feel like we talk about Shudder every week.
Just about, but that's okay. They do good work.
It's a good like $5 subscription. It's worth it. Mm-hmm. I would take a sponsorship deal from them.
Well, anyway, that's really all I've been checking out. Other than I've been watching a lot of the YouTube series What Happened, done by Matt McMuscles.
Oh, I watch those every weekend when a new one comes out. Like on the dot. It's good.
It's been my put those on and fall asleep to, because it's just kind of good. It's cool information. It's a lot of backstory about usually failed video games and movies. Sometimes they're more popular stuff that had like things that had troubled development problems, that sort of thing. One of my favorites recently is Kingdoms of Amalur with
that's a wild story.
Baseball pitcher Kurt Schilling's ill-fated video game company, where he defrauded the state of Rhode Island.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
Huh.
Yeah.
And he was making an MMO simultaneously with the game too. And we got the first game, but the MMO never
materialized.
Happened.
Yeah. But anyway, that's what
I about to say. That title sounded really familiar.
people liked. The game,
it
from what I
wasn't a bad
understand,
game.
but he took a whole bunch of money from the state of Rhode Island and never paid it back.
Why would the state of Rhode Island fund a video game?
Because a lot of states were doing back-end funding for indie game studios at the time, and Rhode Island, and were making bank on it, and Rhode Island wanted to get a piece of that action and made a bad investment.
Well, that and there was no central location. This is game development Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
And they were a lot of places were trying to become that at the time.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, that's my check 'em outs.
I wish he would do one on Final Fantasy XIV.
I'm sure he will eventually. Although it is not to get inside baseball, that is one of the main games that Pat, his former coworker from the Two Best Friends plays on the reg, and they don't like each other, and they kind of hate each other at this point. So I imagine he's probably wanting to avoid stepping on any of those toes, because that's just gonna make things worse.
Have I talked about Final Fantasy XIV on
No,
here yet?
I don't think you have.
I have been playing the ever-loving crap out of it since around the time they announced the new DLC.
Yeah.
Not knowing that that's what they were going to do. It was a complete coincidence that there was big announcements following exactly when I dropped back into the game. But man, I love it. It's great. It's probably the best MMO I've ever played.
Yeah, isn't it free up to level 60 or something?
Now it is, yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Which that's 100 hours of stuff to do. I've been paying for it and I'm not even at that point yet.
Oh wow.
I'm level so close to level 50, so I'm almost there.
You're getting there, yeah.
It's just really good. It doesn't deviate too far from the standard MMO trappings like a World of Warcraft. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it has really good art direction. It looks better than World of Warcraft by a long shot. I mean, World of Warcraft has its charm. It has that kind of cartoony
I like that. What do they call that? Heroic proportions art style.
Yeah.
But I'm also a Warhammer fan, and that's their bread and butter.
But I'm a huge Final Fantasy fanboy, and it's
For
full
sure.
of little references and callbacks.
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
Okay, what race are you? What class are you? What's your character's name? Give us the rundown, because this is an MMO.
Yeah, my character is a black mage, the guys with the demon horns, the tall guys with the demon horns. I forget what it's called.
Yeah.
His name's Crowley Fedderson.
Nice.
Crowley, nice.
And he dabbles in alchemy as well.
Okay, right on. Right on.
But server Hyperion
Okay.
also.
Nice. If I were to jump into it, in MMOs, I typically play kind of the tank role, so I would probably jump into Black Knight or something like that.
So you'd start Lancer or Pugilist. one of those.
Probably Lancer. I mean, yeah, I'm not really good at the dodging damage. I'd rather just be bulky enough to just
Soak it.
Okay, I'm just gonna sit here and do my thing, and
tanks are a good class to pick because they're one of the more desirable ones in grouping.
Yeah.
If you play any kind of DPS class, when you sign up to do a dungeon, you're gonna be waiting 5 or 8 minutes if you're DPS. But I think if you're anything else, if you're a tank, if you're a healer, you're going to get in there like that because everybody needs a tank or healer.
Right.
Yeah, and everyone else plays the DPS.
Everyone wants to make big number go up.
Yeah.
And I've never cared about that. I'm I'll just sit right here and do my thing and not dodge damage.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a raid tank back in my WoW days. So,
yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The progression is really well done. There's always something coming up, some cool unlock a couple levels away that'll keep you invested.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even when I played Champions Online, my guy in a chicken suit, Captain Cluck, he was a tank, and he would just show up and just kind of camp.
Were you the brawler archetype or?
It was a freeform archetype,
yeah.
but it was mostly brawler. But yeah.
But yeah, they're because you have main story quests and then you have job related quests, and like every 5 levels you'll get a new job related quest. So it's like, I want that next job thing, whatever it is. It's always like a cool skill or sometimes armor, like class armor and stuff. So
Nice.
it's just really good. I've really enjoyed it.
Plus 14 is cross-play between like PC and PlayStation. And
Yeah, unfortunately you have to buy it multiple times to get, like if I wanted to play on PlayStation, I'd have to buy a PlayStation key, which is like $20. So it's not
That's not
ridiculous.
terrible, but it's still kind of the
but
thought
I
of it.
haven't done it.
Right.
but not
yeah.
necessarily like for you, but just to play with your friends. Or do you have to have the key to play with your friends on other platforms?
What? No, you have to be able to access the game at all on other platforms. You have to buy it again.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but I meant like just to play with other people.
Oh no, it's fully crossplay.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
I wasn't talking about jumping from my PlayStation to my PC.
And I've heard that the gamepad controls are actually pretty good,
That's what I hear as well. Yeah.
but I wouldn't. I like my keyboard. I like hammering all those numbers.
Yeah, like I don't. Yeah, I could never like wrap my head around like MMOs on a console. Like it always like weirded me out.
Yeah, it's like I need my binding to auto target the closest bad guy, and I need to be able to cycle through all those numbers because there's like a very specific rotation you'll do for a black mage.
That's what I've heard.
Well,
yeah.
any class really.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the flip side, when I played Champions, I only played on an Xbox controller. It's a PC game, but I only played on Xbox controller because I couldn't figure out the keyboard. I was like, okay, I'm going to run up here and press this button, this button, this button, trigger this button.
Huh.
And it worked. It worked fine.
I never played it with a controller. I always played it with a keyboard.
Yep. So yeah, it's not bad.
Man, I don't know, probably like a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago now, I re-downloaded Champions just like, oh yeah, I'm feeling a little nostalgic. God, it looks like straight trash now.
Oh yeah.
Every once in a great while, I get the itch to go back, and I resist the urge because I know it's going to be bad.
Also, it doesn't perform well anymore. Like it's
Well, what it is, they use it as the test bed for features for Star Trek Online. That's all it is
And
at
probably
this point.
Neverwinter,
And
too.
Neverwinter. Yeah, so anything that shows up correct, like that works 100% in Neverwinter, you can guess probably 6 months to a year prior it was broken in Champions. And because it's Champions, they never fix it. It just stays broken.
I mean, I think one of my favorite things about Champions was like the really super robust character like customizer.
Oh, you can do some goofy stuff with that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a comic book superhero MMO, so it's like you better be able to do that.
Yeah.
Well, also, it has a character creator that it seemed as though the developers went, you know, who cares?
Yeah.
Let's just do whatever. Who cares?
But then now that it's free to play, they lock a lot of the options
They
behind
do.
the paywall, which
Well,
kind of stinks.
Yeah.
Yep, buy little set packs and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
But I
that's
mean,
true.
it's either that or the game doesn't exist, so they
True.
might as well.
Yeah, and
very true.
And I'm not even sure how much of the community really still plays it anymore, especially for as old as it is.
It
now.
has a small but dedicated, because the other one, City of Heroes, is a pain in the butt to get running.
for the fan server.
For the
their-
super secret fan server.
It's not
Yeah,
a secret.
exactly.
That's not a secret anymore.
Yeah. It's still nuts to me that it was a secret for so long, though.
Right?
That's wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
See what's my check it out.
But get Final Fantasy XIV. It's so good.
Free up until level 60.
Yeah, play those.
Including the Shadowbringers pack.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
We watched the Bo Burnham special.
Okay.
Inside, I think is what it's called.
That's what it's called. It's very good.
It's really weird. Like, I know I've talked to one of my friends about it, and he's not really a big Bo Burnham fan. Like, he doesn't like his style of quote unquote comedy or whatever you want to call whatever he does.
I was the same way. I didn't not like him, but I'm just like, he's all right. You know, I didn't think anything super special. He's fine.
But man, his Inside special is like it's like watching like a live feed of somebody like losing their mind.
Yeah.
Like he's like the whole thing is shot like either inside his house or in something that looks like his house. or whatever he's doing. I'm not really sure what he's doing.
It's like he rented a room to lose his mind in.
Yeah. Full of like, recording equipment and whatnot and instruments and all kinds of things. His one song he does, White Woman's Instagram, is hilarious.
Yeah. I love his 2 Jeff Bezos songs.
Okay. So this is on Netflix?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
cool. I imagine we probably can't repeat many of the jokes and stuff. Is he?
It's not that.
It's not that bad.
No.
I know very little about Bo Burnham, so
A lot of his stuff is like he talks so fast, but he'll make like a really like kind of scathing commentary on something, and it's almost like you got to be really paying attention, or you'll be like, wait, what?
I would let like a teenager watch it. Yeah,
Okay, that's not bad.
I'd let like a 14-year-old watch it.
Okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, there were a couple points where I was kind of like, I was kind of laughing pretty hard.
He does a very good song about turning 30.
Oh yeah, that one kind of like
And he does a lot with lights and a projector. Like,
oh yeah, like his sexting song. Yeah, there's like project all these emojis and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
there's one part where he's wearing like a headlamp on his head, and he looks up and shoots the beam into a disco ball on the ceiling, and just lights go everywhere. And he does a lot with a little.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's kind of awesome.
It's very minimalist, the whole
Nice.
thing, but he does a good job with it.
nice.
Yeah, like I said, it's definitely an experience. It's more art piece than comedy special, I would say.
Interesting.
Almost like a multi-level interpretive dance, maybe.
Okay.
It's like an art installation in one room that we get to see on Netflix. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Interesting.
really hard to describe because it's not so much like where he's like sitting on a stage, playing the piano like his normal stuff is, but it's like, I don't know, it's really hard to describe. But I mean,
Okay.
It's not your traditional comedy special.
Oh, yeah.
He's not walking out and saying, "Here's some jokes." Like,
Gotcha. Okay. Well, cool. Yeah, I will have to check that out then.
but then again, there's also not like a huge narrative through line either.
nope.
Okay.
Like he's like jumping from like thought to thought.
Gotcha. Kind of stream of conscious, kind of
Yeah.
thing a little bit. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, right on.
I feel like there's maybe like 5 hours of stuff he didn't use.
Gotcha. Okay.
I feel like we're seeing the best of about 10 hours of stuff he shot
Gotcha.
over the pandemic.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, he even says at the beginning of the thing that he worked on this over like a year or something.
Well, sure. I mean, if he wasn't touring and he
Yeah.
had nothing else going on.
And that's the thing. He says he stopped touring because he started having nervous breakdowns while performing and having like stage fright problems all of a sudden.
Huh.
And so he went into therapy and worked on it and started feeling better and started feeling like, okay, maybe I can go out and do this again. And then the pandemic happened.
Oh, wow.
So this is what he did instead.
Yeah, there you go.
I feel like there was something else I did, but I can't remember now.
Did you watch more Sailor Moon, or are you taking a break
No,
from...
we've taken a little break from that.
Oh, I still need to watch the Netflix movies. There's just not been a good time to sit down and watch 2 Sailor Moon movies. Have you guys watched Loki yet?
No.
Haven't watched it. I want to get caught up this weekend.
It's very good.
That's what I
said
keep
this
hearing.
last week.
Yep, that's what I keep hearing.
And there's another episode, and it's also good.
I mean, say what you will, but I mean, Tom Hiddleston is like a bright point in the entire MCU.
Yeah. And
Yep.
he continues to be one in the show.
Excellent. Very cool.
I've put a little bit of time into Final Fantasy VII.
Intergrade?
Intergrade Yuffie story.
Okay, cool.
And it's very good. It's more of the good stuff, like in the original previous remake. It has a little more of a lighter tone to match the character, which
that's
is
good.
fun because Cloud is a very dour man, and Yuffie is like the exact opposite.
Man, remember, you want to talk about Cloud being dour. Like that whole point in the original game where you're like trapped in the ether stream or whatever.
And like kind of in his own mind.
Yeah.
That game goes places.
Yeah.
It does.
This is not like that.
That's good. Makes me wonder if they're going to go that way or not.
They're definitely going somewhere.
Yeah.
Without spoiling, like, it takes a turn at the end.
Yeah.
The original game does anyway. I was going to say something else about it, and I lost my train of thought. It's wild musically.
Really?
The music goes all over the place. You spend a dungeon, and there's, like, jazz playing the whole time. It's nuts, but it's also very good. I had a salient point, but it escapes me.
All right, well, hey, tell you what, while you're thinking of that salient thought, let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about that, if you can come up with it, and also some of this good E3 news.
We got a whole hot pile.
I hope you like video games.
Hello, I'm Greg Dunham, the host of Long Play here on WZMO. I just wanted to take a minute to assure our many fans and listeners that my staff and I take our job seriously here at WZMO. We will always strive to bring only the highest quality audio entertainment to you and yours. Who am I kidding? We just grab whatever album's on top of the stack. Join us every Friday at 11 p.m. and Saturday at 3 p.m. for Long Play. Tune in to see what we've come up with this week. Catch us every weekend right here on WZMO.
Hey, we're back. That was the guitar solo from Working Man by Rush, played 4 times consecutively.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. We don't play music anymore. It's not during the break anymore. What is during? What? Just nothing?
Ads.
Ads
for other shows. You listened to some ads from other shows. During the break, Cody, you remembered your salient point about the Final Fantasy Intergrade.
I did. The game assumes you remember how it works. And I very much didn't. And the second battle you get in will totally kick your butt if you don't play the game right. I was just like, oh God.
All right. Well, hey, let's go ahead and get into some of this good E3 news.
I'm a Wario. I'm gonna win.
Wario.
It's a good thing he's here because he has some news.
He does have some news, yeah. So where on the E3 do we want to start? Do we want to start with the big Nintendo stuff, or do we want to go with the Microsoft and Devolver and all that stuff and end with the Nintendo?
I think we should do the other stuff first, because I'm afraid if we start with Nintendo, we won't get to the other stuff.
Deal. Let's go for it. Okay, Microsoft and Bethesda had a joint... So E3 this year, big...
Especially since we didn't have one last year.
Yeah. Big video game conference. It started off as like a trade show, but now it's like a big conference kind of thing. Almost like the San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, it's the Comic-Con of video games.
And video games. This year, all digital, nothing live. It was all done digitally.
Yeah, no
crowds, no embarrassing crowds or anything like that.
Yeah.
No hooting and hollering.
No booths.
Yeah. But so we're just going to kind of hit some of the high points of some of the
yeah. And before a Sony fanboy gets mad, PlayStation didn't do anything.
No, they actually are doing a thing right now as we speak.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes.
Is it another one of those state of plays?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what we'll talk about next week.
Yeah.
But so let's talk about Microsoft and Bethesda. They used to do theirs separate, but in the last year and a half,
Microsoft bought
Bethesda for just an entire pile of money.
And it was a really smart move for them.
It was.
They went from having no exclusives to having a lot of good ones and a lot of good properties.
And Bethesda now has the backing to update some of their dev tools and make a good game.
And have proper QA.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the Microsoft Bethesda stuff.
They opened with Starfield.
Yeah.
Bethesda's upcoming space RPG.
Which is their first new IP in a long time.
In like 20-some years or something like that, right?
It was a video. It showed a guy on like the moon and he climbed down a ladder, which I think is kind of like an inside joke about the fact that all the other Bethesda games that use that engine couldn't do ladders.
Oh, yeah. But no, there were no in-game stuff with this one. But this is basically Elder Scrolls, but in space.
Yes, Todd Howard literally said it's Skyrim in space, which is like kind of turns me off to it because it's like, are you even trying to do anything unique?
Right. Yeah.
Like, Skyrim was the last mainline Elder Scrolls they did.
And it's like 7 years old or something at this point.
It's even older than that, I think.
Yeah.
It was on the Xbox 360.
It's true.
Yeah, it is true.
It has been remade and repackaged so many times.
But like, I'll play it. I like the idea of space Skyrim. It's just not exciting.
Space Rim.
Space Rim. Outer Rim. It's just when you describe it that way, it doesn't sound exciting anymore.
It doesn't. Okay, we're gonna have to.
Yeah, we gotta get.
We can't focus on one of these for too terribly long, unfortunately. There was a Halo. New Halo.
Multiplayer is going to be free, and then the campaign is what you pay for, which that makes sense.
They're going the Call of Duty route.
Yeah,
and that's cool because most people are going to play the multiplayer.
Yeah,
that's what you get Halo for,
and it keeps that fresh blood coming in, so the long-standing players like have people to shoot, and it just makes sense to do it that way.
Yeah. Josh, tell me about the Sea of Thieves thing.
So, Rare dropped a really big bomb. Like, they haven't had a huge, like, real big update in a while that, like, really gets people talking. They are actually doing their first licensed IP collaboration with Disney and bringing out a Sea of Thieves Pirates of the Caribbean.
Kind of like pack or something like that.
I don't know so much if it's a pack.
Or free update or something.
Yeah, it is free. It comes out.
Storyline.
Yeah.
It's content.
Yeah, there for a long time, Sea of Thieves started this thing called Tall Tales, which are like the closest thing to story quest that you have in that game.
Yeah.
But now they're having a whole slew of Pirates of the Caribbean themed stuff.
Yeah, with the extremely current and relevant Pirates of the Caribbean franchise.
Yeah. That kind of tells me Disney might be making another Pirates of the Caribbean movie
I'm sure.
soon.
And people were like flipping out about it. It's like on a Sea of Thieves board I'm on, it has been just again and again and again and again and again.
I'm sure they're looking at every frame of the trailer.
Oh yeah. There was a people were like, "Oh, Johnny Depp's back." I'm like, "No, it's not Johnny Depp."
Oh God, no, they're not.
It's the dude who does Jack Sparrow in the Kingdom Hearts stuff,
and he does a fine job.
Yeah, what's his name? Troy Baker.
Troy Baker does everybody though.
Yeah, it's true.
He's in every game.
I'm not sure if it's Troy Baker, but I think his last name.
It may as well be Troy Baker.
It's Jorby Dorp.
It's professional video game voice man.
Yeah.
But it looks like you maybe travel through a portal and actually go to the Pirates of the Caribbean, like
land.
Like
you go to Kingdom Hearts Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
You travel through a portal, and then you end up like real world Caribbean or whatever, not the Sea of Thieves Caribbean or whatever. But there's like Davy Jones and the Flying Dutchman. There's a bunch of Pirates of the Caribbean themed like
boat parts,
accessories and stuff like clothing and stuff you can get.
That's cool.
Calypso, the weird sea goddess kind of thing, pops up.
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see where it goes because some of the Tall Tale stuff is kind of good, some of it's not great, but anything to, put a fresh spin in the world, I think.
So now that they got Disney up in this, can we get Monkey Island content?
Oh, that would be great.
I'm surprised I haven't seen anybody talk about it.
Please?
All I've seen is other people go like, One Piece, One Piece, One Piece.
That wouldn't fit at all.
I don't want One Piece.
Monkey Island would fit perfectly.
I know. Monkey Island is the closest you have to this cartoony pirate world that Sea of Thieves already is.
Sorry to cut you off.
That's fine.
Gotta move on.
Yeah, gotta move on.
Life is Strange. Yeah.
The new one's coming out. We knew about this.
Yeah. So this is.
The new thing. They're remastering the old ones that aren't even that old.
Yeah. These games hold no interest for me.
They're actually very good.
That's what I keep hearing, but I don't know. They just seem like hipstery for the sake of being hipstery, and it's just it holds no interest.
The new one looks really cool. I like the idea of empath powers.
Yeah.
I like the main character's design.
It's like, but Life is Strange is basically your disillusioned teens,
college
teens with vague superpowers, but
and
not
it's a
like
Telltale game,
but not like lightning powered. It's like, oh, I could tell when you're sad.
Yeah, that's the new girl's power. The other one, she could
Control time.
Control time. And when there was a video game puzzle, it was good.
Yeah.
But they were few and far between.
And so therein lies the issue. Psychonauts 2.
Looks like more Psychonauts, and Psychonauts is a very good game.
Yeah. When was the last one done?
Oh God, it was the PlayStation 2 original Xbox game.
It was.
So
I think it was an
it's-
original Xbox exclusive.
No, it was on.
It was on
both.
PS2.
Was it?
And
Yeah.
PC.
Yeah.
Because I remember playing it on the old Xbox.
It's a good game. It's
Yeah.
a 3D platformer with adventure game elements by Double Fine. So
And it has the same weird art style as the original
yes,
one.
it has a very specific
Look.
art look. Well, the artist, I think Lee Petty is, and it's very much his art style that they've transposed into 3D.
Mm-hmm. Outer Worlds 2. We talked about Starfield before. This is more like Starfield done
In an interesting
in
way.
an interesting way.
The first Outer Worlds was very good and kind of like a retro, not even retro space. It was somewhere between cowboy and space.
Right, and it had a very sardonic kind of sense of humor.
Yeah, and the trailer
about things.
The trailer is just a series of jokes.
Oh, that's good.
So
That's good.
It's going to be good. The first one was good.
Yep. All right, we're moving on to this is more of the Square Enix kind of stuff. So there is a Final Fantasy Origins game.
It's Square Enix teaming up with Tecmo Koei.
Yeah, and Team Ninja, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're basically making a Final Fantasy Neo,
Yeah.
which is the Dark Souls samurai game. They released the demo, which was at first completely broken and unplayable for about 3 days.
Yep.
And then they patched it. And I have played it, and as somebody who doesn't like a Dark Souls like at all, I think we talked about it last week.
We did.
I kind of did enjoy this. It's still hard, but it's not as punishing. Like when you die, they don't take away like all your money or whatever. You just go back to where you were.
Oh, that's good. I just like in this trailer that the main character is almost has a Doom guy level of
Single track, yeah.
single track mind. I gotta kill chaos.
Oh, this dude wants to kill chaos so
I
bad.
hate chaos so much. I gotta kill it. It's what I gotta do.
There is a rumor that the plot is just like 3 regular dudes got sucked into Final Fantasy 1, and the only way they can go home is by killing chaos, becoming the warriors of light and killing chaos. And honestly, I hope that is the story.
That would be kind of great. I kind of hope that part of it is his 2 traveling companions or whatever, or 3 traveling companions are put a lampshade on how the main character is so driven. He's like, okay, guy, we get it. Chaos, he's bad. You gotta kill him. We get it. And he's like, no, I'm like Batman. Chaos is bad.
And it looks like it has like a legitimate like job system too.
And that's cool. That's cool.
Because you level up as you go. In the demo, you start as swordsman. It looks like there's going to be other ones, and you level up the skills in it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is like, cuts to the core of me.
Plus, also, it touches on the original Final Fantasy,
Yeah.
Yeah,
with Chaos and Garland and all them. And
Yeah. Garland is in the trailer, and he looks like the same
like
design he had
Yep.
in Final Fantasy 1.
Guardians of the Galaxy. This is a Marvel joint with Square Enix.
By
right?
the people who did Deus Ex, I guess.
Yeah, where you are you're playing only as Star-Lord, but you can make decisions throughout the game that impact gameplay along with the other members of the Guardians. This isn't set in the movie continuity. It's not set in the awful Avengers game that is currently out continuity. It's its own separate thing, so everything looks a little bit different.
Star-Lord looks weird and bad. I don't like his hair.
He doesn't look great. Rocket doesn't look great.
He's got that weird like braided
goatee, thing going.
Everybody else looks fine.
Everyone else. Well, everyone else just looks like Guardians.
Yeah,
but
it's hard to mess up Groot.
It looks interesting. It's part of me is kind of bummed that you can't play as the other members of the Guardians, but
it feels like it kind of misses the point of the Guardians. If you can't play as all of them.
Although I can kind of see what they were going for by limiting it down to one playable character. They can greatly increase the amount of things you can do with that one character. Where if you're
kind of becomes like Star-Lord Simulator, which is interesting.
Interesting. It's fine.
In the comics and stuff, he does have a gun that shoots different elements.
Yeah.
It's very Telltale, like Gamora will remember that when you make a choice type of thing.
That part popped up in the trailer, basically. Atomic Heart, we watched the trailer for this. It looks interesting. It's like a weird Russian
robot BioShock.
There's like a lot of cool robot designs, and
it looked interesting, which is something you can't.
It
say
definitely
about
has that like that kind of retro like Cold War 60s. What do you want to call that? Atomic punk.
Yeah,
kind of style to it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just appealed to me for some reason. It just looked different. Which,
And it had that old lady with the ladle that was trying to attack you.
Babushka with a ladle. So.
Yeah. So that was kind of great.
Ubisoft's big one more thing reveal was a friggin' Avatar game, which who cares?
Yeah, we're talking about Blue Cat and not
not bending elements.
Not Last
Not the
Airbender.
good Avatar that people like. The James Cameron one that nobody...
that Jenny Nicholson from YouTube likes.
Yeah, only Jenny Nicholson
her.
cares about.
Last of the Space Mohicans.
Yeah. Dances with cats.
It's crazy. I guess, James Cameron did Titanic, so he gets all that cachet to make these bad cat movies, I guess.
He also did Terminator.
That's true.
Terminator 2 is amazing.
Also, I watched The Abyss the other day.
Yeah.
That movie's good.
I love The Abyss.
That's a really cool movie.
I love that movie.
Surprise!
Like
good.
Like when the water tube comes out and like starts mimicking faces.
Except for like there's a point where it should end and it doesn't, and it goes on for like another 40 minutes.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's a really cool movie. Let's move on to video game stuff.
Okay, let's keep going on video game stuff. Devolver Digital had their
joke show.
Their joke show. They didn't really announce a whole lot of stuff.
And it wasn't as funny this year.
This year, they kind of got a little more meta with it than usual, and I just kind of missed the mark, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Usually it has a real cutting kind of wit to it, and Nina Struthers usually yells a lot of obscenities during it.
And then like somebody explodes or like
and then someone
gets
explodes,
blown
and
out,
there
like,
was nothing of that. They had like a running gag with chili dogs for some reason.
People kept eating chili dogs.
I kept thinking they were going to do something with Sonic the Hedgehog. I thought they were referencing a Sonic. But no, they were just eating chili dogs through the entire thing. I don't understand it.
And then they did that bullcrap with that game Demon Trigger, where it's only available digitally and no other way. And it's like an NES style game.
Oh, not digitally, physical.
Oh yeah, it's only available physically, not digitally. I said it backwards. And like, it looks like a fun, cool game, and like, but it also looks like it's something that should cost $7.99 on the eShop.
Right, instead of full price.
But because FOMO got me real bad, I pre-ordered the dumb game.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes against the whole vibe of the Devolver show to do something like that.
Yeah.
That's something they would have made fun of previous years.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this seemed like a rare miss for Devolver Digital. Yeah. All right, let's move on to Nintendo. We have about 15 minutes and a lot of cool Nintendo stuff. I don't like saying people won or lost E3 because I think that's kind of dumb.
It's just a bunch of advertisements.
Basically. Having said that, Nintendo, I think by volume had the most amount of things that I'm interested in, not only because it is the only system I own, but because
you have a computer.
I have a computer, and they had the most interesting stuff, I think. So let's talk about some of those things that looked interesting. First up, they started off their direct with a Smash Brothers, another one of the DLC, one of the last two. I think there's one more DLC after this one, but it's
going to be easy to top this one.
Well, yeah, kind of. I mean, I feel bad. So the character that they picked is a character named Kazuma Mishima from the Tekken series.
Timothy Tekkens from Tekken.
Yeah, you keep making fun of it. I think it's actually a pretty good pick. Tekken, it does have a long-standing history. It's important in gaming, and if you kind of look at the wider scope, Namco Bandai has helped out a lot with the development of Smash Brothers Ultimate.
They're basically co-developer.
They're basically and yet the only character that
from
is
Namco.
From them that has representation in the game is Pac-Man. They needed someone else, and
an actual fighting character.
They don't have a lot of characters they could have pulled.
There's a ton of classic Namco arcade characters. They could have pulled anybody from a Tales of game.
But they're not going to do that. They're going to pick a character that currently has a popular game that they also want to try to promote. And Tekken 7 is very big right now, despite its problems with the netcode, but that's an entirely different conversation. This is a character that it seems like an easy fit because he's already a fighting game character.
Yeah, it's like when they threw in Ryu from Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Or Terry also. Terry I liked, but also nobody knew who he was.
More people know who Kazuma is than Terry, unfortunately. It should be the other way around. But again, another conversation to have. Do I think this is a wasted slot? Kinda. Am I stomping my feet and throwing a hissy fit because he's in there? No, he's going to be a fun fit. I'll play him for a while, and then I'll move on.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine.
I'm not excited about it, but it is what it is.
Yeah. What are some of the other stuff?
A new Metroid.
Yeah.
But not the one you think it is.
Yeah.
It's not Metroid Prime. That got delayed. But in the meantime, they made a whole nother different Metroid.
Yeah, a traditional 2D side-scroller.
Which, for me personally, I would want more.
Yeah. Yeah, and this one is using the name of a failed development from years ago, Metroid Dread.
Yeah, this is like 15 years ago. It started development on the GBA.
Yeah.
And now here it's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't this like a sequel to like Metroid Fusion?
Yes.
A direct sequel. And it has more horror elements because you have undefeatable robots, hound monsters that will pop up randomly, and
on
you
top
basically
of shooting alien Metroids.
Yeah, you basically have to drop everything you're doing and run away from these things that just kind of pop
Or
up
hide.
randomly.
Yeah.
Or hide, yeah.
It's the SAX, the Samus clone from Fusion, elaborated on.
Yep, pretty much.
Which makes sense. Everybody loved that aspect of Fusion. I'm very excited.
It's very cool. Mario Party Superstars is not a DLC to the Mario Party game. It's a whole standalone thing, but it's they're bringing back like all their old mini games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all like Mario 64 stuff.
Yeah,
Or Mario Party 64
It's
stuff.
all 64 era mini games. Like I think they said 100 or over 100.
Over 100, yeah.
And like 5 or 6 boards from the 64 games, which those are the ones everybody likes, and those are the ones everybody complains that the new boards are not like. So they might as well just throw the old boards back out there and say, "Hey, this is what you wanted."
I still kind of wish this were a DLC for the new Mario Party.
Yeah, it probably should be, but this is Nintendo we're talking about.
This is Nintendo. They're going to try to get you to spend another $60. I won't, but
and I will.
Someone will.
I will.
And yeah.
It does have online play.
Yeah, and then we'll have to stream a lot of Mario parties when it comes out because I think that would be
You'll
entertaining.
get to watch me get mad in real time while playing Mario
Hey,
Party.
we used to play a lot of the Wii U Mario Party, which I don't care what anybody says was a very fun game.
It was very fun.
I like the Bowser one. That was
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
That was a good time.
a lot of people
Yeah.
dump on that one, and I thought it was very good.
I thought it was fine.
I liked being Bowser and messing with you guys.
So, Monkey Ball, is this a new game or is it a repackaging of all their old games?
This is a repackaging of 3 of the old games, which that's good because when they did a new one not too long ago, it was just okay.
Okay.
So they might as well just give people what they want, which is the old games.
That's
with
cool.
the good mini games. And plus, like, there's not a whole lot you can do with Monkey Ball.
No,
I think,
it's a monkey in a ball and you're knocking stuff over.
Yeah, I think they've pretty much mined that whole franchise. So a remake is just, it's good.
It's just as good.
It's a smart move. Yep. There's a new WarioWare.
Wow.
We mentioned Wario earlier.
It was unsettling listening to that ad and listening to Charles Martinet do Wario in full sentences.
He does it in the last 3DS Wario
Oh,
Land.
really? I didn't know that either.
I love
Okay.
it when Wario talks. I think they should let him say as much as he wants to.
Yeah. I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't ready for a Mario character speaking full sentences.
But yeah, the last 3DS WarioWare that was just like a greatest hits of WarioWares had fully voiced cutscenes that were very entertaining.
I just like that he called all of his supporting characters in that game chumps, and that seems very Wario to me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So-
That's on brand.
Yeah.
This one is like character control focused. The mini games, you play as different characters inside the mini games, and each of them have their own like control scheme. So they play the same micro games, but they're controlled differently depending on what character you are.
Right.
Which is an interesting way to take the franchise, and I'm excited for it.
They are also adding multiplayer support.
Yes, it's
and that's really cool.
co-op.
Co-op.
I think it's both co-op and versus
Competitive, yeah.
But you
Oh,
play the
awesome.
same micro games. You don't go against people like who can do the best at micro games like they've done before.
Yeah. Yeah. Cruisin' Blast, which is
y'all
kind of a
remember
cool get.
Cruisin'?
Yeah. It's a racing game where you drive through things.
Yeah.
And it looks pretty cool. It's a kind of interesting. This is, I guess, it's a arcade. This newest version, Cruisin' Blast, is an arcade game, and it is getting exclusivity on the Switch for the port.
I think Nintendo actually owns the IP.
Oh, really?
Cruisin'.
Okay, Cruisin'
Yeah.
car for Smash then.
Yeah. That's the last one.
That's it. That's the one.
But
Please understand.
It's being made by Raw Thrills, who makes arcade games.
Yeah.
I think it's owned by one of the former Midway people who used to make the Cruisin' games.
Racing games are great, but I want F-Zero back.
Yeah, well, Kazuya killed Captain Falcon, and he's dead forever.
He did kill him and throw him off a cliff, along with Min Min and Ganondorf and
Kirby, but you can't
Kirby,
kill
you
Kirby.
can't kill-
He cannot
yeah.
be killed.
No.
Kirby is immortal.
I feel like him dropping Captain Falcon off the cliff is just basically what Nintendo has done to Captain Falcon.
Pretty much. They finally showed some in-game footage of Shin Megami Tensei V, which is a cool turn-based RPG.
It's a monster collecty game,
Yeah,
like a Pokemon, but predates Pokemon.
kinda. It is tangentially related to the Persona series. Kinda.
Unlike some people in the chat for the E3 presentation, it is not a ripoff of Persona. It predates Persona.
By a good margin.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks really good. I might have to pick it up.
The art direction is fantastic.
Yeah.
It looks really good.
I'll tell you what it looks like. It looks like Astral Chain.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
Which is
It has
is a
similar visuals.
platinum game, and it looks beautiful.
Yeah. Astral Chain is rad. I
haven't started it yet, because
Oh,
I
you
know
should.
once I start it, I'm not going to want to finish it.
It's-
Or I'm not going to want to do
Stop.
anything until I finish it.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I never finished it, but I very much
that's
enjoyed the time I spent with it.
It's something you like, so you never finished
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Okay, so we're also getting a port of some Danganronpa games, which I know nothing about other than that weird bear.
Yeah, that's about where I'm at it.
It's kind of like Phoenix Wright-esque. It's like a visual novel combined with like a detective style game. It's a bunch of kids that are locked in an environment and forced to kill each other, and then when a body is found, they have a trial to figure out who did the murder.
So it's Among Us?
I mean, it's not a bluff game.
Okay.
It's Phoenix Wright.
It's Phoenix Wright. And I know those games are good. That style of game holds no interest for me whatsoever. None.
If Samantha were here, she'd be very upset with you.
Oh, I
because
know.
she
why I'm saying it now.
She loves the franchise, and I'm just glad people are going to. It's on a system people have,
Yeah.
because previously they're locked behind the PSP and the PS Vita.
Yeah, and
which
those barely exist anymore.
Nobody had those.
No.
I mean I did, but
But,
yeah.
we got a couple more here. Fatal Frame, which was a Wii U, a digital download exclusive, is finally getting ported over to the Switch, proving once again that Nintendo is trying to wipe the existence of the Wii U off the books.
anything of value on the Wii U is getting a port, and apparently this is good enough to.
And that's great.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the Fatal Frame series. Like, it's a...
You're taking pictures of ghosts, right?
Yeah.
Kinda. That's the whole
Yeah.
Yeah.
thing.
I
Spooky
always-
horror game where you take pictures of ghosts.
Japanese ghosts.
Yeah, I like the concept of a horror game where the only way to proceed is to have to look at the scary thing.
Yeah, that
I
is
think
kind of an interesting
Conceptually,
take,
that's
yeah.
very good. And
Yeah.
I remember playing the original Fatal Frame on the PlayStation 2,
yes.
and I was playing it in the dark, and then blind lady ghost screamed at me, and I threw my controller in there and I about pooped my pants.
They were legitimately pretty scary games.
Yeah, that was 2003,
Yeah,
2004.
Probably. All right, we have two last things here. One of the biggest surprises, the Nintendo 3DS, or DS rather, games.
It was a GBA game.
It was the Game Boy Advance game.
Oh, that's right. It makes sense that it's an advanced game. Advance Wars, which is a turn-based strategy cartoony kind of.
Speaking of 2003 me,
Yeah.
I played this a lot.
Yes. me
The first
too.
two games are getting ports for the Switch.
Not just a port, a remaster.
Yeah.
It's a,
complete
from the
remaster.
ground
Yeah.
up.
It's called Advanced Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp, which is a fun title.
Yeah.
I really like these games. A lot of times in my high school lunch was spent passing around my Game Boy Advance playing multiplayer.
I think I remember some of that, actually.
I would sit at my shift at GameStop or Babbage's back then.
Yeah.
And
You really dated yourself.
I know, right? And I would sit there and I would play Advance Wars if I had nothing to do. I love that game.
Yeah.
Like on my Game Boy Advance SP, just sitting there just plugging away.
I've never played these games, but I've been interested in them.
I love the
So
art
this might be a
style. I
chance
love the way
to
they play.
finally
They're fun.
Check them out.
And it's weird that they're bringing it out because not too long ago I kept seeing a bunch of YouTube videos of whatever happened to Advance Wars. It's a dead franchise. Why won't they do anything? And now they're doing something with it.
Fire Emblem kind of ate its lunch for a while.
Yeah.
But I'm glad they're giving it another chance.
Yeah.
'cause it's different enough.
Mm-hmm. And last but not least, Eiji Aonuma was presented and came out and spoke about some Legends of Zelda games. First up, Skyward Sword. Who cares?
Please, they really want people to give it a shot so bad.
They really do. Second up, Hyrule Warriors DLC. Double who cares?
They put Zelda on a motorcycle though. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. And you're going to be able to play as a full-blown Guardian robot in one
They'll
of the DLC.
find a way to make that boring like they did the other robots.
Absolutely. But the most important thing is we finally got to see a little bit of in-game of Breath of the Wild 2, whatever they're going to end up calling the game.
I think they're going to call it The Legend of Zelda Ouch My Whole Entire Arm.
Yeah, his entire arm's messed up. Link's arm is full messed up.
Yeah, it looks like a zombie's arm.
Yeah, and he's using like full-blown magic in this. So he's like warping through floors and
Shooting
creating
fire out of his hand.
Yeah, it looks really good. It looks, I mean, from this trailer, we talked about this off mic. It's very clear why they're pushing Skyward Sword so much because a lot of this takes place in the sky.
Yeah, looks like you go to the ruins of the civilization that was in the sky. That's in Skyward Sword.
Which, I mean, that's pretty much the only place they could go if they wanted a different environment.
Either that or caves.
Yeah, or in the water, which that'd be weird.
That would be weird.
Yeah, so it's like it's kind of weird. It's still weird where it sits in the universe or in the timeline or whatever.
Yep.
If you wanted to make a Sky game, why not do a Kid Icarus?
Well, you know. But this, it looks really good.
So
I'm excited.
I have maybe I'm kind of wondering why Link's arm is like it is and why he can use magic.
I have a theory that he has somehow absorbed part of the Triforce of Power.
Yeah.
Or his arm has been replaced by Ganon's arm.
Yeah, there's some sort of Link Ganon
Possession.
cross-pollination going on.
That's my thing
I
is
think.
like he might be possessed by Ganon, like the original Ganon, like evil,
Calamity Ganon.
Oh yeah.
evil wizard Ganon.
Well, because you say his arm looked like a zombie. I think it looks more like the ancient Sheikah technology,
Well, yeah,
like the golden.
There's shots of it both ways.
Oh, there is.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Maybe
Interesting.
the Sheikah thing is like to contain Ganon from
Taking over his body
Yeah.
or something. Interesting. But that's it. That was E3.
Well, I want to say it looks like they're doing a lot more than I thought they were going to do.
Yes, I
with
thought it was just
Zelda.
going to be, well, this is more of the same.
Yeah, it's very much new stuff, which
And that's great.
makes me more excited, and I was already excited.
Absolutely. Yeah, but we kind of flew through E3. We probably didn't spend quite as much time on some things as we kind of probably should have.
But also, there's not a lot of information.
It was kind of a lackluster one this year, but
Yeah.
it's the first one back, and it's the first all-digital one. I was kind of expecting it to be a little more low-key. At least they didn't keep mentioning these troubled times that we are in.
Yeah.
So, but overall, good E3. Not the best one we've ever seen, but a good one.
We've definitely had worse.
Yes. We should go ahead and wrap things up. You've been listening to Nerd Overload. Thank you very much for tuning in. You can find us each and every day over at nerdoverload.com.
You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram at Nerd Overload Now.
You can send us an email, staff@nerdoverload.com, with your questions, comments, saucy fan fictions. And you can also give us a call on the Nerd Overload hotline. That number is 586-372-8020. Leave us a message and we might play it on the show. And actually say words during your message, because we did get a message the other day that was 10 seconds of silence.
Oh, had some cold feet, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. You can find all of our back episodes on various podcast apps such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, and more. And finally, I'd like to thank David Pencil for the use of our intro and outro. You can find more of his stuff over at davidpencil.com. So again, thank you all for tuning in this week, and we will be back next week.
Remember, heroes do that.